Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. I hope you all enjoy some Metroid II. It is kind of relaxing after all that fantasy Final Fantasy. Because I'm pretty certain that Samus doesn't even know what a Vorpal sword is. A little bit too out of that tip, but otherwise not too bad going down the pit to our Area 0 Metroid. This one is basically your tutorial Metroid. Making sure that you understand how this whole lava thing works. Go Metroids, the lava goes up or down. And usually that's good. Sometimes lava does cause global warming. That was less good. What a rude dude. There's a shake. Definitely takes a while to think about it sometimes. Let's go get some bombs. So Area 0 basically opens up kind of the real hub of the game. You do have access to your ship here in Area 0, but that's about it. All the real action kind of takes place in Area 1. I have to think about this. In between section is more of the Central World hub. There's kind of a semi-consistent design aspect to these vertical shafts that kind of are the linear progression throughout most of the game. There's like Area 0 connects in Area 1 that will connect into our hub world as well. And be our first source of a whole bunch of items. This game's got 10 areas, but 90% of what you're looking for is in just a handful of them. What you're looking for is to have a nice pancake-free life. How rude. That water, now that is blueberry jam. It is delicious, but very high in calories. I could probably just leave missiles on that whole way down. There's not a whole lot of other stuff around here. Before you get to the missile door. Not much. Before you get to the bombs. Let's go. So unlike most areas, this one's very, very forced in that you don't really have a lot of movement tools yet, so they're able to constrain your options quite heavily. But as it goes further in, it gets a little bit more complicated for the routing through different zones. Like you might have legitimately a couple of different choices for the order that you do things. Although typically you want to go grab all the items, then go fight all the Metroids. You don't have to do it that way most of the time. Skip it at 8%, you skip a bunch of missiles and E-tanks. It's really not much different. And 8% is like 4 or 5 minutes faster than 100%. So you can tell that you're probably not bypassing a lot of things. Like at the end of the day, most of the major items are faster to get than to skip. You gotta kill all the Metroids. That means you're going to be visiting most of the screens that you would otherwise have to for 100%. And tragically, you do have to get the spike ball. I think one of the things that kind of attracted me to 100% was just the fact that you really don't have much that you're cutting out anyway for 80%. So you might as well have kind of the knowledge and routing for getting every single thing in the game. It's not as important to have kind of like room-specific skills that are going to be different with 80% as a result. There's like very minor things, but it's like, okay, you can leave without picking up this item. Onto the pancakes we go. It's the turnip. And soon, we'll go and fight some more Metroids. That was kind of rude. You went a little bit too fast for the spawn rate of those, so sometimes it will line up. Other times you have to do a little tiny little stutter step. That one was a stutter. That one was just rude. Here's where we go for more pancakes and more Metroids. We're still in the earliest phase of the game, so you're going to only have the very low-level alpha Metroids. Generally do not pose much of a threat here. Although they do bounce very unpredictably, which can be somewhat aggravating at times. You could be trying to kind of push them in one direction so that you have an easier time kind of getting to the next area that you want to go to, but there's no guarantee that they're going to cooperate. And in fact, usually they do not. Hey, Mullen. Glad you enjoyed Metroid 2. It's a really fun game. I think people should give it another shot, especially that haven't played in a long time, because it's got some really great improvements over the original NES Metroid. And yeah, Super Metroid kind of takes us like to a completely new level. Like in terms of presentation and polish, Super Metroid is one of the best games ever made. But Metroid 2 is extremely solid in many ways. I think it's got an undeserved reputation sometimes for people that say it's kind of like too simplistic. Like they might have some of the best exploration of the whole series. It's just something really satisfying with the way that especially early areas kind of work together. I wish more of the game was like areas 1 through 3. This game is like very front-loaded, and then the second half is a lot of long corridors and the occasional Metroid fight. But you start off really, really nice. No more spiky fish. We hit more spiky fish. Gonna do a big boost at the start of Area 2 here, so health is kind of important, even though we're losing only very small amounts. I prefer to lose none at all for the stretch. Because sometimes that spring ball can be tough. There you go. Even though it's only a little minor obstacle, the fact that those pits are all around there makes that Metroid way more interesting for movement around there, because you just gotta get stuck in them a whole bunch, limiting your navigation options a bit. But now let's see what we can do with this. A little quick delay there. Grab this over here and then hopefully get a good boost. That's it. The early spring ball. It is terrifying. Oh, so that plant does a ridiculous amount of damage, so you definitely don't want to hit the plant. You can hit the little buds coming out of it, just like the fight here. You can hit the shots to this guy, but you don't want to hit his body. Oh, here you go. Give me that ball. So the intended strat to get here is to go basically through the middle section, which has a bunch of running around and not a lot of enemies, but just like a lot of empty corridors. Then climb up the left-hand side with the spider ball, and you have to dodge a whole bunch of enemies on the way, which is super obnoxious. Go up this with all the little flyers going around. And then you get in spider ball on that side, but that's like an extra minute and a half. That's a minute that we can instead use to go and pick up the high jump boots. That'll be our next little area here. And this one's got a lot more stuff inside. Both high jump and are bigger areas than the spring ball one. Spring ball is kind of its own little self-contained zone. And doing the exploration for this zone especially is really fun. Got a bunch of different routes that you can do to take different pathways through it. It's not as linear as Area 1. It's not as punishing in some ways than Area 3, which has the more difficult Metroid fights in it. This one feels just like non-stop item collecting. So this is a totally different planet than the original Metroid. So basically what happened is after Metroid 1, Samus decided to go and stop the Metroids at the source rather than letting the space pirates kidnap them, which is why you don't see any of the more classic Metroid enemies in the game. It is kind of almost like a side adventure that then got reconnected back into the main story by the baby Metroid at the end of this one becoming the big story aspect of Super Metroid. Two, three, four, up. I've got to hear the high jump section is done. I do kind of like that there is a little bit of separation from the other Metroid games as well. I kind of wish that there was generally like more originality in a lot of the Metroid series. Just taking advantage of the overall kind of environment, crafting new storylines would be kind of neat. But I will say that there are some nice aspects of classic Metroid that really translate well. Get out of there. Let's head down. Might be too far to the left. Yeah, pretty close. Head into the various section next, which is kind of in the very center of all these areas. If you look at the map, it's not 100% possible to draw the map in like straight lines. Like sometimes it just doesn't make sense about how things connect together. But for the most part, you can kind of get a sense about how the different areas kind of interlock together. A little bit of a better idea of where you are at one time. We go. Once we got Variag, don't have to be in ball form nearly as much. Morph is, at the start of the game, 50% faster than your normal walking speed. Which is kind of weird, but once you've got the Varia suit, then it is also a speed upgrade for movement. At that point, your walking speed is the same as the rolling speed. So there's no separate speed booster item or anything like that. So it would be kind of neat if you had the two things separated. So like Vario was only damage reduction, and then there was a different speed item that maybe you could get a little bit earlier in the game, so that you wouldn't have to be going this far in before being able to just like run around like normal. And there's still plenty of places where big and morph is definitely advantageous for movement, so it's got many, many aspects where it can still be used. Alright, down to the Metroid section. Just like Area 1, Area 2 has its Metroids kind of separate from the items for the most part. So you can save these to the very end once you have everything collected. It's a little bit easier doing these fights, especially against the upgraded Gamma Metroids. Yep. Gamma Metroids, in addition to being kind of bigger, more aggressive, having more hit points, also has a new mechanic, which is the large amounts of invincibility that they have when they're doing that lightning attack. Not able to hit them for an extended period of time. Because now you got a lot more of a timing aspect for doing those fights. Alphas you can kind of just spam away, and the biggest hurdle is just that because they got a very unpredictable bounce when you hit them, it's hard to kind of cleanly chain together shots. Gammas bounce a little bit less, but they have that big delay. There you go. Wow, that was a horrible fight. Lost so much time on that alpha. Well, one more to go. Our last Metroid in Area 2. This is another one that we're gonna have to dig. There we go. Oh yeah, not surprised we lost a ton of time on that alpha fight. About 10 seconds lost there. But now on to Area 3. Gonna grab some items and then on to Area 3. And I do need a bit of health at the start, but that is probably pretty good here still. Really use this damage to get a whole bunch of vertical boosts. Otherwise, climbing up that shaft can be pretty slow. Whereas that is just terrifying. Spider Ball ceiling. Number 1's done. The other one's in Area 6, and because it's so much later in the game, it is even more nerve-wracking. That combined with the fact that the Spider Ball, most of the time, just simply does not work like you think it should. Ow. 199 is still fine. Just annoying. I think those flowers are better if you don't go up too high. As long as you keep them on screen, they're kind of able to stay tracked and in a predictable spot. As soon as you go off screen, for some reason, they will just go completely wild with their positions and often go further over to the right than you'd expect. Hold that. Let's get back to our element. Let's get over to Area 3. All that wonderful health and no time to grab it. Sometimes it's tough with speedrunning these games to like pass up on health drops and items that would be like really nice. It would take like maybe a second to grab it. It's like, no. You gotta just say no. Let's go look at spaceships, and you get plenty of health. Not even a problem. Replay missiles from this refill. And soon we'll be getting the space jump. I know they're going to be getting the bad news that there's going to be even more time lost. That was kind of slow on the way out of Area 2, so... yeah, not surprised another 5 seconds. We'll keep going up plenty of time with the later half of the game for picking stuff up. Getting tougher to stay with the really good times in the first 3 areas especially. Which is good, because those are getting more and more optimized. This is the murder zone. Where we taunt the Metroids. F. Coughlin, welcome in. Hope you had a good time tonight, and welcome in, Fred Raiders. We got some Metroid II going on right now. So I hope you had a wonderful night watching Fred. Enjoy. Bit faster damage boosting up a lot of these corridors than to do Space Jump, even though Space Jump is pretty convenient right now. We just have better alternatives. If only we had an alternative for this Spider Ball. Then life would be great. Maybe Grand 3, welcome in. You're gonna watch Metroid II. Currently in the, I'd say about halfway mark of Area 3. Maybe a third. You got the intro done, which is just getting that health. That's what you needed to be able to make it to with the health left over at the end of Area 2. Now, for the most part, this is pretty straightforward. You just have these random flamethrowers. Sometimes they fire on you, sometimes they don't. Those ones are actually pretty nice. Here's our next game, Metroid. So this next stretch, health is really kind of unimportant because there's another E-tank pretty soon after this. But then after that, health gets really, really important for a while. To do another very big boost at the beginning of Area 4. No, that's not good. Health isn't a big deal, but it's slow falling off there. Otherwise, the rest of that was pretty good. Here we go. Alright, so our next big chunk Area 3 done. 4, 5. You were not supposed to do it that way, but those little flippy platforms on the side are the least fun to do. The intended mechanic for this section is just awful. But now that we got that health, now health is really, really important. Now it's time to fight some Metroids. Lots of Metroids. Good game of fight number 1. You could boost up the side on those little spikes to go a lot faster than doing the space jump, but I like to have the energy to spare for the Metroid fights coming up, which there's going to be a lot of. You could almost outrun the spaceships on the way back out, but it doesn't quite work. Now we descend down into Metroid Town. That was a good game of fight. bubble ones. The annoying part about the bubbles is they will kind of randomly eat your missiles. It's not super consistent. And for the alphas, they bounce around a whole bunch. That's really nice because they're almost always in kind of fresh bubbles. For the gamma over here, at least, you can kind of take advantage of the smaller bounces. Just drill up a column here, and then you don't have to worry about the missiles for the rest of it. I feel like the gamma's easier than that. Stand up top, and then going down the shaft here. Whee! Yes, there you go. Alright, that was a pretty good gamma, so we've had very good gamma fights so far. Looking excellent for health going into the last couple of these. That would be good for area 4 and 5. I mean, that was okay. Took a little bit of recovery to get back into a good spot for it. Again, it was just barely off screen. Like, it didn't quite count the shots. But it looked like it should have been able to hit. Okay, last one. All right. That was a pretty good area 3. Oh, all those games could have gone much worse. Like, this is one of the more stressful spots for that because just the non-stop gamma fights, and every single one has its own little unique quirks and setups for it. And as you can see, you're gonna need a lot of health because you're gonna go through a lot of lava. This is not really the intended path. Boy, doing it this way, you do in Area 5 before Area 4. The advantage is that you get to do way less backtracking on the overall, which saves about 90 seconds. And it also looks really cool. We are in Area 5. Just think we killed the first Metroid in Area 4. We'll eventually have to kill all the Metroids, so you don't skip anything by doing this. But you're doing the 2 areas out of order. And it works because it only cares about the number of Metroids you kill, not the specific one that dies. This is just yet another way that you can realize that this Metroid detector is a complete piece of junk. 5, now on to Area 4 next. Now, there is a Metroid that we were supposed to go at the beginning. You're gonna see how neatly it kind of ties Area 4 into Area 6. Which is one thing that gives a lot of casual playthroughs a problem, because you don't really expect it to be out of order. Up to now, everything has been pretty nicely linear for a lot of the overworld sequencing. This is the first time that they kind of throw a curve at you. And some people don't realize that, ended up doing this lava dive just because they're desperate. I know it's not bad as the spider ball, but sometimes the spring ball is also pretty rough. Spring ball is generally a very fun tool, though, in this game. There's down there, Area 6. Over here is Area 4. Whereas 3 and 5 were together. We're now in the danger pancake zone. These are the pancake pluses. There's one nice thing about those, which is they drop big health drops. Those are 20 drops instead of the regular 5 drops. It's one of the few enemies that drop the 20s. Means if you get lucky on those, you can get some decent health back. And on average, I think it's something like 1 out of 3 of those big pancakes drop the big health. So they were very generous with the health in this stretch because of that. Alright, decent on Area 4 and 5. So Area 6 is going to be one of the tougher stretches. This is the last time that you have really items to grab. Everything that's left. The last major item, handful of missiles and E-tanks, all of it's in Area 6. And then past Area 6, the rest of the game you have nothing to pick up. It's just fight Metroids and run down hallways. Which I can appreciate, but I do like the item collecting part of this game a lot. I love how much unique stuff is. Like, those bats, just that one room. Never see him again. This missile thing, only one time. Kind of ready to get a ton of unique content on a Game Boy game. Oh, for sure. There's definitely some things that Metroid II has got some rough spots on. And I feel like presentation-wise, some of the things are technological limitations. Like, all right, so the Game Boy can only do so much with graphics. You gotta accept that. But some of its intentional choices, like the decision for how the music works, I so much prefer the much heavier instrumental portions of Super Metroid. Like, it's still environmental, but it's not like completely dead in places. I think Super Metroid did the music really, really well. Okay, I don't know what that set is doing. Let's reset it, try again. It's a really specifically picky fight. We got one down. And Zetas are definitely the worst Metroids in this game. I'm surprised that gained a bunch of time. Zeta fight was not great. There was a couple of slow jumps and things. I guess the hallway game at the start was not terrible. That one can get kind of squirrely at times. The problem with the hallway game is just that it's in a pretty tight quarter, and they'll exploit that heavily in this zone, putting you into a lot of fights with these sand zones in the Metroids, just to make it so it's very awkward to fight them. Oh, I definitely say it's a lot smoother than it used to be. This game kind of starts to click after a while. Like, initially, some of the things are just mysterious about how fight mechanics work and navigation, but then it gets more and more understandable as you go through it. And that really helps with kind of making it enjoyable to keep playing. So you go to the dark zone, and then nobody likes that. Because this place sucks. Like, I don't know how they thought this was a good idea. It is not. Like, if you could get a light or an item that made it so you could see through there, understandable. But it's horrible. Ah, got the mystery skin. There we go. And on to the second worst part of Area 6. The spider ceiling. Yeah, there's something weird about the stickiness of the Metroid skins. Often they also have like these weird collision properties where they're not solid. And it's because sometimes in this game I like to kind of do a whole bunch of, fake hidden blocks. Which since you don't have like the X-ray scope or a way to kind of see where fake blocks are, it's often kind of feeling really punitive. And they did this a lot in Metroid 1 as well, but it felt like those were more kind of obvious tells about where the blocks were going to be. So while they were still annoying, it's like once you found the one fake block, it's like, okay, this is the block that leads to a missile or something, and then that's the end of it. Alright, here's Zeta number 2. Might actually plunk it. Nope. That was a really good Zeta fight. It might not look like it, but that is a very, very, really rough one. That Zeta fight has probably the worst positioning in the entire game. Everywhere else you can kind of get like a little way to make it so that you're at least kind of locking them in place for a little bit. But that one, because it starts off in the middle of the room, and there's no platforms around that's at the right height, it is nearly impossible to do well on it. I am super happy when that one goes well. Nope. I'm gonna do this up the hard way. Trying to damage boost across the top there to get up to this game of Metroid. Continuing the trend of Metroids hidden in awkward spots. Like, you'll find these places are just, you might be doing a bunch of searching around before you kind of locate where the next Metroid's supposed to be. Unlike items, they're pretty hard to miss because you have to kill the Metroids in order to advance to the next area. And it makes it kind of nice for being a good forcing function to find them. Final Zeta. We're good. And that is Area 6. Even though the Omegas are supposed to be an upgrade over the Zetas, the Omegas are way easier. Yeah, one thing that makes the Omegas a lot better is that they have a way to reset their patterns. For the Zetas, you're kind of at the mercy of the Zeta just kind of do something. And often it chooses to do bad things to you. down there. Oh, I guess the spaceship's coming out of there. That makes sense. Well, I don't know if that's as good to do a damage boost to that section then. Often if you have a choice between running through lava or carefully navigating around it, it's better just run through the lava. But that was a lot of interruptions with the runs. I guess that was a lot of extra health too. Okay, definitely don't run through that lava then. I know you take extra damage if you are in Spider Ball in lava, because Spider Ball sucks. But I don't think that there's lava that's different for the running. I think it's just doing a whole bunch of bonus damage from the combat. There. There's our first Omega down. That is Area 8. This is a little tiny area. It's just kind of a gimmicky bit to introduce the Omegas for the first time. When you kill the first alpha, it traps you in here by raising the lava, which is not how you usually think about lava working in this game. And you saw the little puzzle about where to go to get the lava lowered back down, which ends up being the same place. Right, this one's run through. Probably faster to morph and roll through that, but not by a huge amount. Welcome to Area 9. Here's where things start to get a little bit serious. All right, one down, two more Omegas to go. Actually, more Omega Metroids than Zeta Metroids. Which I think is kind of funny. They knew the Zeta Metroids were terrible. This is also a pretty rough stretch for casual playthroughs because it's been a while since you've had good health and missile refills. You got a couple of saves, but not a lot that lets you play dangerously on things. But at this point, I think they're mostly expecting that you kind of practice the fights until you go through them reasonably well, rather than just relying on tanking every single Metroid for a whole bunch of damage and then running back to heal somewhere. Final Mega. And with that, Area 9 is done. That was pretty good, Area 9. But we are not done yet. There is more. We still gotta beat the Queen. There we go. So this way, there's nothing left for regular enemies. Even Area 9 was very, very sparse, and kind of the lore is that the Metroids have just eaten the entire planet. Who can blame them? They were hungry. At this point, you finally have water that is actually got physics to it, so all this water is super sticky and heavy. So you do not want to touch it. It also has a bunch of little traps in the middle of it, so if you fall into the water and you don't know where the pitfalls are, you'll just drop down to the previous floor. Gotta go all the way around again. It is no fun. So the traps line up mostly, I mean, it's kind of not totally centered on it. You can tell where the fake ones are because the blocks have this little black outline instead of the normal blue outline. It's pretty subtle, but that's the visual indicator of where they are. Oh, they did not fill the missiles up. Just lost like 15 seconds. Didn't even need the missiles, but just really nice to have all the missiles for Metroid Queen fight. That sucks. It was not 15 seconds, but it felt like it. Now it's 5 seconds. Alright, so we are playing from behind Area 10. And we gotta fight these Metroids. Good luck. Biggest thing is we do not want to get munched by Metroid. That is a pretty slow process. Oh, that was close. When it reverts back, it refills to full health, too. Makes it even worse. Alright, so not a great Area 10 so far, but at least we've not been mobbed. Go super safe on that one. Normally like to do that on the drop down to hit it in midair. But that one can munch you if you get unlucky with the room transition. Here we go. Go for the swallow. Bombs do a lot of damage compared to your missiles. And that did enough. Alright, we're still out of the queen. Now we gotta escape. Yeah, I think these splits had one Metroid at the very end where it got munched, which is a bit of a time loss. But so much time was lost in the rest Area 10. And so much time can be lost. If the baby does not cooperate. Also, can I just point out that my Metroid detector is not the type of Metroid that is literally 6 inches away. I would like a refund. Maybe got stuck. Maybe unstuck. Now we can run. Or fly. Mostly fly. Once you're past there, that's the last space jump. Those are the worst because space jumps are pretty easy to drop at any point during there. And you will fall a long way down. Pretty much. Go down. And finish Metroid 2 in 69 minutes and 52 seconds. Not bad. That one was pretty nice. Enjoy the ending credits, and thank you for the GG's Xavier Crow, Wyman Guy, Big Rant 3, Malfin, McKaylee P, Business Goose Gaming, Dark Beth, Blind Umpire, Captain Vittles, Code and Data, Tipo01, Squeegee88. This has been my goal for Metroid 2 to get under 70 minutes on it. Now I can figure out what I want to do next in this game. It has still got so much room for improvement for the quick and easy stuff. Just kind of squeezing out a bunch of seconds here and there. This was not really that super strong for the first 3 areas. I guess Area 3 was pretty good. First 2 areas were kind of blah. Area 3 really picked up a lot. And then Area 6, I think, was the bulk of the improvements up until Area 9. It's got plenty of other places in between that could have some overall benefits. And there's just a lot of movement tech that I am not doing. But that'll be for the future. Right, I think we're done.